Hello and welcome back to Yapology 101. Today we have a very special guest with us, someone who is well known amongst the millions of otaku on this planet, the creator, co-director, and writer of 2Kawaii4Comfort, Luke Palmer, also known as Rhino Stew. Luke, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm having a bit of a heat wave moment over here, but we're amped up. We're surviving. I've got a hydro flask full of ice cold. It feels weird. I feel like I'm like broadcasting to you from like a sandstorm right now or something. I'm like, we're hunkering down right now. We're actively prepared, and I think we're well prepared. We're well stocked. We're ready for the heat onslaught.
Oh, that's crazy. Because over here, right here in the south, it's cold today. It's a lovely day. I'm so sorry.
Oh God, that's brutal. Oh my God.
I'm able to wear long sleeves indoors right now. I'm so sorry.
That is wild. And you're just experiencing a perfectly fine weather week right now, and
it's lovely.
Not wow. Okay.
It's 39 degrees. I'm not originally, well, I'm American, but I didn't grow up here. How is that hot, Luke?
It's hot. No, that is not hot at all. What you're experiencing is not hot. We've got 90s to 100s happening right now. Where were you from originally, if I may ask?
I'm Egyptian and American hybrid.
Oh wow. That would not have been the first pick I would have thrown in there.
Nobody can guess.
How long were you living in Egypt before coming over here?
I moved around from Egypt and Qatar and Syria, many countries in the Middle East, until I was about 17, and then we came back to the States.
Okay, so that's a true multinational experience right there.
No, absolutely. But I'm grateful for it. But I actually wanted to tell you a story about how hard it is to be an anime fan in the Middle East.
I was going to say, yeah, this is almost like the start of a screwing a light bulb joke right here. What on earth is it like being an anime fan in the Middle East?
Oh, Luke. I don't even know how to describe
this. Let me ask you this. What I'm curious about, what was your first, like I always say, Adult Swim level anime interaction. I'm saying something that's not Pokemon or Digimon or anything like that. What was your first intermediate anime?
Intermediate anime? It is pretty basic, but Neon Genesis?
That's not basic. That's the answer. That's like, and how did you find out about Ava?
So I was on Tumblr a lot.
Oh, wow.
And I was on very much the aesthetic anime side of Tumblr, if you know, you know. So I was seeing a lot of very aesthetic gifs and oh, this is such a profound anime. And I was like, oh, I want to watch a profound anime. I want to watch a psychological type of anime. I've never done that before. My first anime was actually not Black Butler, but a yaoi called Love Stage.
Okay,
so
I've never heard of that one.
Love Stage. I have the whole what is it called? OST memorized. It is the best yaoi of all time. Shout out if you know, you know. But I was very much into anime that was just had homosexual undertones, and as well as shoujo. I'm kind of similar to Rita Chan in that aspect. I noticed that's one thing I really liked about 2Kawaii4Comfort is I saw myself in so many of the characters, and one thing I saw in Rita Chan was her love of shoujo anime and magical girl anime and all things girly anime, and that really resonated with me because I think that a lot of and I hate to call myself female because I am, but also I'm other. I really related to that because it seems like a lot of girl anime fans that are oh, I like shonen, I like action, I like Naruto, I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, and I'm I like glitter, and seeing that in her made me feel seen.
No, you are correct, and it feels part of the real, to put on my weather forecast hat. I feel like a big part of the post-COVID weeb shift was the fact that only the big spectacle anime really got the spotlight. And I think that what's fascinating, I still have yet to watch Apothecary Diaries, but that seems to be the most shoujo in spirit of the main attention anime thing. But like again, I don't even know if that feels like that, but like, you know, a lot of freaking like, I guess I could do, you know, I feel like I can consider Rumiko Takahashi shoujo, like the master of
Right.
shoujo
Right.
right there. And I think that one thing that I always found fascinating, because like, you know, when we were cribbing influences for what we were doing, you know, stuff like Welcome to Eltingville and the Anime Club, which was in of itself sort of just an anime riff on Welcome to Eltingville. But
Yeah.
like that stuff still focused on like specifically the toxicity in the male fandom space.
Yes. Oh my
And
god,
when
I wanted to talk about this so bad with you. Continue, my
oh
bad.
sure no. And I was gonna say, because like when I grew up, it was mostly girls that I was hanging out with that were into
Oh,
anime. And like, you know, that culture, you know, my con experiences were me mostly hanging out with my friends who were girls. And I think that like that's a side of the you know, when the anime convention, anime con experience is boiled down to, it's still the image of Fedora Guy. You know, Fedora Guy creeps on some girl at a convention. Like even when
Randy.
Smiling Friends had their
Oh,
anime con reference, it was
I
the
loved
Fedora
that.
Guy
I
story.
loved that little part at the end of the episode where
Oh yeah.
Alan was like, "Get away from me!"
But like that, I still felt like I still never saw stories that I felt actually showed the female side of that experience and that side of the con experience. And I think that like, you know, to also kind of say when I was growing up, I had like a, you know, I wouldn't say like a love, but a very deep fondness for shoujo manga. Like in particular, there was this one called Zodiac PI. Did you ever read Zodiac
No,
PI?
no, I didn't.
Okay.
You've given me another thing to add to my list.
Zodiac PI, I'm very curious. I will not hold it up as like the most excellent example of storytelling in human history, but like it was a detective manga and the girl had a ring, and in order to like solve the murder, solve the crime, she'd have to know the victim's astrological sign, and then the sign would come out and give them some kind of hint to the murder that like corresponded with the horoscope. It was awesome. It was so great, and that ring was
Um,
iconic as hell. And
that's
like,
right up my alley. Right up
yeah.
it.
And so I'm like, I'm actually kind of glad that I think that 2Kawaii4Comfort embodies some of the sort of more shoujo driven aspects of fandom culture, because I think that gets left out of the conversation a lot, especially now.
It really does. And what I really loved about Too Quiet for Comfort is that it not only did give that female shoujo experience of being in fandom culture and loving anime from the female perspective and loving comic books and loving video games, but there was every single, I feel like you embodied every archetype of anyone you would see at an anime convention. Just in every single character, you nailed it. There's no one you missed out. It really it rang true, like the authenticity. You've been in these spaces, you know the space very well, and I think that's why so many people resonate with it, because it's just that accurate, just that relatable, just that real. Fuck, I really love it for that reason. I mean, we've got Randy's complex, but Randy's also the guy that I would run away from, that I run away from every year, by the way.
Yeah.
That Spencer Kuhn, the sweetest guy. He's kind of like losing his child like love for it, but he's like, because he's kind, and he's experienced real life. And then we have Mari Chan. She's like the mom friend that everyone overlooks, because as mothers are overlooked, you know, all that they do for you is overlooked, but she loves being that friend. She loves taking care of her friends, having fun with them. That's all she cares about. It's beautiful. And then we have, who else do we have? We have Toki, and Toki is such a relatable character for so many of us, and as well as Rita, which is something I'm going to talk about later. Because I relate to both of them, and it's a weird experience to be that type of girl who can relate to both of them 100%. Even that, I cannot remember his name, the creepy guy from the con.
Oh, I've
That's
been
not
calling him
Randy.
Bachelor number 3. I just been calling him Bachelor number 3 now.
Bachelor number 3, right? But just the one with the makeup and that said the, you know,
Yeah,
that,
that's
that
him.
was
That's
saying all,
him.
that's him, Bachelor number 3. Yeah,
Yes.
I have met him so many times. So Yeah,
I will say that my favorite thing still about the show is that it feels like Bachelor number 3 enters the story at the precise moment that Bachelor number 3 needs to enter the story. And it's like, no, you thought we were leaving them out? No, absolutely not. No, this is crucial right
you
here.
thought you were gonna be safe and
No,
comfortable.
oh God,
this is
no.
too kawaii for comfort.
Which that was also funny because I'm like, when I was coming up with the premise of the story, like the name 2Kawaii4Comfort kind of just pops up, and I'm like, well, there's nothing else you can possibly call it. There's no other possible title you could have for this show. This show just almost felt like an experiment in a sense, just to being like I talked about this earlier, but one of the biggest cardinal there's only one rule of making a web series that everyone really should follow, and it's write for what you have. You know, like if you have a garage, write about a bunch of people stuck in a garage, and if you have that,
Yep.
we broke that rule. We didn't have anything that we needed to make this. Everything just seemed like stuff that in our little idle head, we're like, oh yeah, we could come up with that somehow. We could find that.
That's how great ideas are created. I mean, you don't have. There's no such thing as a perfect plan for a perfect idea.
Clearly you have not seen the Rubber Band, because that stuff is pretty much flawless, and somebody came up with that.
I don't think I have. Actually, I'd like to ask, what the hell is the rubber band?
Oh, like a rubber band, like that stuff that you put on. You know, you can use it to, like, if you have a bundle of pencils, you can put a rubber band around it, or you know, that's what I don't even know like what purposes you'd qualify a rubber band for.
Well, it holds everything together. It's
it holds
sturdy,
everything
it's
together. A rubber
snappy.
band is like string, but rubber,
But better.
but better, yes, in every way.
It's absolutely better. I am absolutely geeked. But I have so many questions for you. Wow. I did want to ask, and you said, like, yeah, it wasn't all like fully formed. It was like we had nothing, but we got it. We made it.
Yeah.
Dude, like, what was the first time that you were inspired to make this? What was the first inkling in your mind?
God, there was a lot of different stuff. I feel like this felt like the culmination of so many different moments, and you just sort of need to like not even cherry pick, but like if you see one of those like fancy like Michelin things at Noma, and they use some like tweezers to pick up some sprouts, like some microscopic sprouts, and just rearrange those sprouts in a perfect pattern. Yeah, you need to do that, but with your childhood trauma.
Real.
No, I was
real.
It was I think that like I will say like one moment in particular that kind of inspired. I'll say like the biggest show and the biggest moment. The biggest show was probably like Moral Oral. Did you ever watch? Did you ever watch Moral
That was a big
Oral?
part of my growing up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I remember watching the nature episode of Moral Oral when it aired on Adult Swim. And it was crazy because I always thought that like Moral Oral was interesting, but it was never really like that funny. And then all of a sudden it had an episode, and it stopped trying to be a comedy, and it was the most engaged in Moral Oral I had ever been. And I was like, holy fuck. Especially like coming from a family of alcoholics, and like they were sober alcoholics, but a sober alcoholic is still an alcoholic, you know. That's the biggest lesson you learn about living with alcoholics.
Addiction in general. Shit.
Addiction in general. God, gotta love talking about addiction. Gotta love talking about humanity.
I could talk about it for days.
Let me ask you this. So do you? This is an oddly personal question.
Go ahead.
But do you come from a family with any sort of addiction that runs through it?
Absolutely. We have a very strong addiction gene. I've been battling addiction for years, and I just got sober 2 weeks ago for like the 15th
Oh shit!
time.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But thank God it wasn't alcoholism like everyone else in my family. I'm more hip, the cool kid drugs, No, just kidding. But addiction is a topic that matters so much to me because my mother is very straight edge, hates junkies, and kind of made me feel like I was going to be a junkie, that kind of like weird dynamic. And oh, our family are junkies, you're gonna be a junkie, bop 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 bop, you're gonna be an alcoholic, bop 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 bop. So it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, but then it's just really something that I had to realize, oh, this is genetic and it doesn't have to be my life, and I don't have to live the same life that everyone before me lived. I really don't have to do this. And I think caring about myself is what stopped me. That's the number one thing about addiction. If you fucking hate yourself, you're not going to stop. You have no reason to stop. Yeah.
Fortunately, I'm out of it right now. I'm out of a self-loathing cycle, which is lovely, but it's also, thank you, but it's also weird to like think about what gets people into that state, and it's so upsetting and it's so disappointing, but that's also like,
well, I actually have something to pivot that relates.
Please pivot off of that.
I think, well, that's a big thing that got me into fandom culture and having an outlet for these things, I have a pretty fucked up upbringing, and like everyone has, but those were my outlets. Like fandom was really my outlet. Fandom matters so much to so many people. So I think that's why watching Spencer in general, I think I really felt his storyline, seeing real life, except I had already seen real life. So it was almost like a swap. I was falling into fandom because I had seen some horrible things, and then he sees something horrible, and he no longer feels the love for fandom. I don't know. It's still a thought in my mind that is still, I'm still thinking about it, but it's something about Spencer in general resonated with me so deeply, like in my heart. I don't know.
I was thinking about this lately because Spencer, in theory, is sort of the least interesting character. But I
he's
think
like the main character of a harem anime. He's like
exactly.
No,
he's sort of generic anime protag to a certain extent. But I think that to two others, one, Charlie just did a phenomenal job. Like Charlie was such a great guy, and, like amazing actor. Oh my god, we just worked again, with Charlie doing the finale, and that was his first time doing just voice acting.
Wait,
and everyone
he's voice acting Spencer in the finale?
Of course he's voice acting Spencer, and he does a fantastic job voice acting Spencer. We literally, Katie, who's the voice of Rita-chan, like she's a professional VA, and she was like, Charlie was unreal. Like Charlie really freaking brought it.
That's beautiful.
But I think that there's sort of a Christopher Robin quality to him, That's what I was kind of thinking. You know what? Everyone fucks with Christopher Robin.
Exactly.
All right? Everyone very secretly has that inner childlike spirit that just wants to wander through the 100-acre wood and hang out with stuffed animals,
And giggle at comic books.
And giggle.
Aww.
That's the thing I love. The thing I love the most is like this show. I think, I love how this show is sort of the anti-baseball because it proves that like striking out and missing completely is so much more funny than getting a home run.
Oh,
and like, well, that's like, I was actually thinking about this. Like pretty much everybody strikes out except Rita-chan. Rita-chan is the only one who doesn't strike out over the course of the show.
It's very true, and I wanted to dig more into Rita without spoiling the finale.
You can dig into whatever you feel digging. I'll hold you back if you think. That's like the weirdest thing. I really want people speculating about this show as least as possible. I'm like, God, don't think about this. Whatever you do. You don't know how many months of work we're going to put into this, and if you figure it out, we're fucked.
I'm a frequent on the Reddit. Dude, they are speculating.
I know, and I want them to stop. Oh my God. Dude, I think about this. It's like, this isn't a mystery show. There's no mystery here, okay? Stop trying to get ahead. Give me fucking time. Holy fuck.
I'm dead, bro, because this was killing me. Because before this interview, I was thinking about that very topic. I was like going to ask you this question. Hey, did you intend for there to be some sort of secret lore, or were you just trying to get the fan base to do their like fan theories, or did you not want that at all? That was actually
I don't want that at all. No, I think it's cool when people make weird shit, and I'm like, I like that. I like that. I like when people play with these characters like they're action figures. I don't like people trying to like figure out or like speculate. Well, actually, I had a big one that came in recently. Somebody asked me if they could do like a formal psychological profile on the characters, and I asked them, you know what, if it's okay if I don't feel very comfortable with that, because I don't feel right ascribing specific labels to them. And like, with all due respect, even if it's like a professional analysis or an amateur analysis, I think there's always the risk of offending people when it comes to like trying to present anything as concrete, especially with mental health, which, as far as I'm concerned, mental health is such a fun oxymoron right there in a weird way. Like, I think it's important, the vocabulary around mental health and how we treat mental health still isn't very pragmatic or uplifting or practical.
Stigmatized in the way that we
very
speak about
stigmatized. So that's why I'm like, I prefer not to do anything formal like that, or to like diagnose
stigmatize
anybody.
it further and be less it's
Especially
almost a disrespect to the character.
Yeah, that feels weird to me, in a sense that it's like, I get that people can like look at fictional stories and find deeply psychologically resonant things, but it's also like it's just a web series,
Oh, Luke, it's not just a web series.
I mean, I know this is so weird.
No.
The biggest part of me is that I just hope people enjoy it for what it is, instead of trying to make it something that it might not be. But I wish, that might be a quote unquote anti-art kind of view, but that's at least my view.
I'm very much a person who looks so deeply analytical. I can never stop thinking. So I cannot help but view the web series as extremely profound, because for me, it's less of the intention. It's more like, this made me feel so deeply. It is profound to me, type of thing, So it's so hard, because for me, it's like, this is literally the best web series I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're kind. Thank you.
And I'm not a liar either.
Well, what was very flattering, especially when the show launched initially, we drew a lot of comparisons to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Not that we were ever, not to say that we were similar, but people said this is the best web series since Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. And don't,
true.
and Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, though, is so effortlessly brilliant that it's like, I don't even want to try to like say we're in any sort of like comparison.
I gotta
with
say,
them.
I like 2Kawaii4Comfort more.
I feel that but like, what I will say is true is nobody, I think, tried to do a web series as a drama seriously. And that's something I think we tried, and on a certain level succeeded to do, because it's had this kind of reaction with people. But I think the idea of like it's weird. That's why I'm like, I love genre fiction a lot, because you can kind of just play in these specific wheelhouses. You can have things be dramatic, and you can have weight and stakes. And it feels like, especially with because when I was growing up, a lot of internet content is I love it. It's awesome and it's funny, but it's kind of shits and giggles-esque.
Absolutely. The old internet is all shits and giggles.
The old internet is all shits and giggles. And I love shits and giggles, but I think there's room for other stuff too, and other stuff can be fun. Like,
dude, I had a great time watching, although it made me feel all kinds of horrible feelings. It was horrible but beautiful.
It was actually like a weirdly like big inspiration for it. Did you ever see Perks of Being a Wallflower?
Yes, dude, that was one of the movies that I first watched, when I was a kid, and I was so insecure, and I never saw a representation.
Yeah, and I'm like,
anything.
you know what? I'm never gonna say Perks of Being a Wallflower is the most profound, amazing, incredible movie. But I like what this had to say, though, and I like what it did, and I like that it was sort of this like I think there's always going to be a part of the human soul that yearns for some John Hughes type shit.
Absolutely. But you know what's funny about Perks of Being a Wallflower?
Aside from how poorly all the Ezra Miller stuff has aged, no.
Oh, no, seriously, rest in peace to my king. What the fuck
I
happened?
know.
Oh my god, he ruled Tumblr. He ruled Tumblr.
Oh damn, that's right. You were on Tumblr. Like
I was heavy.
I stayed the hell away from Tumblr. Tumblr was not my
That's
scene.
healthy of you. That's
Yeah.
very healthy of you. No, but I didn't understand the point until I met my partner at like 22 years old. We watched the movie together and I was like, oh, he was touched. I never realized that was the point.
Mm.
I never got it. And then I was like, oh my god, this movie's even better now because it actually has a meaning. Like, I liked it because of the vibes.
Yeah. But I don't know, and it feels weird, and I think about this a lot, and it's really upsetting to me that they're just sort of like isn't that kind of movie explicitly dealing with neurotypicality. Because like when I
Right.
talk to people, you know, that like people I had a friend who very famously he talked about how much the God, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on this.
No, don't worry. Take your time. We have so
It
much
was
time.
like it's like a Disney Channel thing, and it was like an all-black retelling of Cinderella or something. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I've watched that one. That's the one with Brandy and
Yes, the one with Brandy.
yeah,
What was
the
that
one with
one?
Brandy. A Cinderella story was it called that? I love that movie. That's the one with
Yeah.
Brandy and I can't remember the Asian actor's name, but that couple was the cutest couple ever. First of all, but yeah, continue. Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Yes.
and oh yeah, that's what they were talking about. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it was. It was Cinderella, 1990, the 1997
Yeah,
Cinderella movie.
yes.
And you know, I thought, because I never saw it, but then I saw a picture of it. I'm like, well, that seems like such a kind of wonderful, oddly specific concept. Like, there's something
Right.
really kind of nice about that. Why hasn't there been anything like this for autism? Why
Dude.
why hasn't there been any sort of piece of autistic related media that could possibly
Right.
resonate with me on something as seemingly delightful as the Brandy Cinderella thing? And I feel like the well, there's a movie now that's actually gotten very close, but the previous answer to that was always like Napoleon Dynamite, and I
Oh,
only
my favorite
use
movie of all time. Yeah, I'm autistic as hell. You don't have
it's a
to tell me
very, but
this.
like that's the catch is that it's an autistic coded movie. It's not
Absolutely.
explicitly an
No.
autistic movie.
Right.
And I've had talks with friends about, you know, because I love Napoleon Dynamite. It's a part of me, but like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I had a friend who's like, I don't like Napoleon Dynamite. I think that that character is an offensive stereotype when it comes to autistic people.
I must be
And
one
I'm like,
too.
you know what? I think that's a totally valid way to look at that too. I think that you can look at it as
True.
somebody putting on airs, quote
Oh.
unquote. And
Damn, I never thought about it like that. Sorry, continue.
yeah, no, and I'm like, you know, I think about this a lot, and I don't want to burn through all the potential
No, don't
good
worry.
vertical content juice. Um,
This is already
but
good
like,
content juice.
no, I think that representation is a very nuanced and tricky issue. Especially, you know, as the frustrating part, which is just like just the fact that we've just been criminally unable to make any sort of good movie out of autism. Like,
Oh,
well, again, except
actually,
one. And I won't even mention which one, but I was saying previously, let's say prior to 2018, it's
well, if
just how unbelievably tone deaf it all seems to
yeah,
feel. Um,
like who the Gilbert what was that movie with the Leo where he acts
yeah, what's
all
eating Gilbert Grape?
yeah,
I didn't
that
even
shit.
watch that one.
It won't make you feel good if you're autistic and you know other autistic people with more needs than you. It will make you feel kind of uncomfortable, in my opinion.
Damn. Yeah, the just the point being that it's like, you know, I think that the characters in the show respect the audience by not trying to sugarcoat or sanitize
Mm.
anything. Because I think that is all that we see are these sanitized portrayals. And I think these characters are sort of like, you know, part of the reason that people find them so universally
Hmm.
relatable is because they are stereotypes, you know? They're almost the amalgamation of so many different strong traits than they are like really a naturalistic one person in that sense. Um, I was kind of talking about, you know, to kind of, I guess we can kind of move into talking about Rita Chan at some specific point, because I was like, when it came to like all the Rita Chan stuff,
Mm-hmm.
there from that character, there's been since we premiered, there've been so many true to life freaking moments where people see things or say things or send pictures. Like there was somebody who literally, a cosplayer went missing, and they sent us a photo, and it was them in a freaking wig holding the wheelie bag, and I'm like, they looked
Oh my
exactly
God.
like Rita Chan, exactly to a T. Or when the Channel 5 clip from the furry convention got
Oh my
played, and
God.
they had that one, yeah, you know who I'm talking about, and people kept saying there's a lot of Rita Chan um vibe or
Occurrences.
energy to that. Yeah, and I'm like, well, that's because it's like, I think that with Rita Chan in a sense in particular, she's like the ghost of Christmas past. She's not a human in the sense of like being a traditional human character. She sort
Right.
of feels like an amalgamation of all those people that were like that. Um
Yes. The
and
people
I'm not
in
gonna
fandom communities. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and again, in a weird way, it's like, we wanted to show respect to this character by taking
Right.
this story seriously. Because I think
Right.
that the weird thing, despite how probably, because you're on TikTok, right?
Very much so.
You're primarily a TikTok influencer,
At
and
uh, at the moment, I'm really trying to branch out.
I know you're trying, and that's why I'm like, it's all insane. Believe me, just speaking from my own creator perspective, it's all freaking insane.
It's
But like,
absurdist. We're living in very
it's
absurdist
absurdist.
times.
But there's so much just autistic buzz on all of these platforms, especially on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
especially on it. But it's not meaningful discourse. I don't think that like us making like 45-second clips of hashtag relatable autism TikTok is
Right.
actually going to like fix this serious horrific lack of representation and lack of willingness of the mainstream to actually get into the weeds
Wow.
about this
I
stuff.
have a lot to say about this. You're really resonating with me on this
Yeah.
topic because it's been something that's been bothering me for many a year. um, like the whole how autistic people are represented versus how autistic people are treated as well. There are so many instances, and I don't even know where to start. But the whole TikTok thing, I don't know. And I wanted to ask you about Randy if he was inspired by Chris Chan, because with TikTok we have all these lol cows
Oh
coming in,
yeah.
fresh hot lol cows every day. It's not like back in the day where it was a couple lol cows. No, now it's every day a new lol cow, which just means an autistic person with
Well,
who needs who
it's
has
to me what's
needs.
interesting now with Chris Chan is Chris Chan has now reached this sort of like he's they've become like the Tiger King. Like
Yeah.
they've become a true crime figure as much as they become like a meme type thing. And I was just talked about this on the other podcast that I went on, specifically about the Chris Chan stuff. Because like when I grew up, the most prominent autistic figures in media were literally Chris Chan and school shooters. You
Yeah,
know,
it's
it was
true.
like the only autistic people I ever heard about or ever heard people talk about.
Yep.
It was like, oh, and this person shot up a school and they were diagnosed
Yep.
as
Or the
autistic.
millions of homeless people who are autistic,
Yeah. And
you know.
what's the thing with the Christian stuff in particular is it's real modern day Quasimodo type behavior.
Oh
Like
my
it
god.
is straight up Hunchback of Notre Dame, Festival of Fools that's happening
Yep.
around Christian. And I think that like people are so caught up in the hype and in the moment. I don't think they are realizing just how dehumanizing they're being. But I'm
Because
not but and I think that in a sense, of course, like Randy was meant to be this like amalgamation of every negative autistic
right.
stereotype. And I think
Absolutely.
that like, that's a a crappy character, but I think that that's some
But
kind of
that's real.
force that needed to exist in that. Yeah. And I'm not saying this is like what I've said and why I stand by when people see 2 Kawaii for Comfort as positive representation, despite the fact that these characters are so inherently negative.
But that is positive. It is neutral and it is real. It's not very neutral, but it's real. Yeah.
But it's because these characters embody the anxiety of dealing with neuroatypical people. And the people who experience that feeling a lot are neuroatypical people because we're the ones dealing with ourselves. So even though I think it's a negative reflection, it's a negative reflection coming from this perspective, coming as somebody who did, grow up diagnosed on the spectrum and living with that stuff. There's a fear of that because I think the other reason why Chris Chan was such a compelling figure is everybody saw a bit of themselves on some level.
I saw a bit of myself in Chris Chan, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that's the other word is unfortunately. That comes right after.
The incident.
Yeah. So I think that, like, and it's weird because I always was wondering, like, is this exploitation trying to make a character like this? But then I'm looking at, like, people are just being so literal about the Chris Chan stuff now. Like, people are just cosplaying as them. They're dressing up.
Dude, I met a cosplayer at MomoCon. He cosplays as Chainsaw. No, what's it called? What's that fucking video game? The I don't know.
Was it Splatterhouse?
No, it was more mainstream. It was I can't remember, but he had an eye patch and he was Chris Chan mixed with the guy with the eye patch from this one
Majima?
Maybe, yes.
From Yakuza?
No, I love Yakuza. It's definitely not Majima. It's freaking another guy. I'm so sorry. I'm getting autistic about Yakuza. I'm so sorry. But it's a different guy.
Okay, please continue.
Antaga. Sorry, you're going to get me singing the whole song. But yeah, I can't quite remember because I deleted it from my con story because I didn't want to be associated with anyone cosplaying as Chris Chan. I realized that was very distasteful. I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe cosplaying Chris Chan is not the move. Maybe that's kind of distasteful. I thought about it a little bit more.
I think there's people who I'm like, they're doing it, and I want to ask them why they're doing it.
I asked him, and he was like, oh, this is my thing. And I was like, what?
Yeah, no, and I don't know if people just like aren't thinking that critically about it because I've run into cases where it's just like when it comes to like I will recycle this. Once when I was like a summer camp instructor, I had kids that would say autistic screeching and mimic the internet meme. And I had to stop them and I said, do you know that that's extremely hurtful to autistic people? And the second that they gave it 1 second of thought, they realized what they were doing and they stopped it. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, do these people who like are dressing as Chris Chan, are they the same level of ignorance? Like how much of this is going on? And like the crappy thing now, I mean, like I went on a real, I will confess, like I was following the iDubbbz drama when that was going down because that was
I was
true.
Too.
Oh, that was like true YouTube drama at its absolute most foul. And then it got boring, and then I was like listening, and now I'm just like, oh, now you guys are just doing all red pill right stuff coverage. This isn't nearly as fun as watching the weird iDubbbz implosion.
I have to check something.
Go for it, take your time.
My apologies. My tech guy went to go eat chicken soup.
Ooh.
I think we're still recording. Yeah, we are. My bad. I just want to make sure none of this was going to be gone forever. Continue.
Oh, believe me, I've been there. I have been there.
It's hard.
So, yeah. I think that it's like, I don't think people are thinking about it. I don't think people are thinking about how weird it really is. And we'll see how that all goes. I think that like, not to say, I feel like what we did was quote unquote more clever somehow. I don't know. It
was, in my opinion.
Yeah, and there's people that like for some reason they watch it and they're like they're not sure, and I'm like, how obvious are we being about this? We're being very clear.
No, we're being very clear, and I have a lot to say about it actually as an autistic female. I have a lot to say about it. I didn't know I was autistic until adulthood, which a lot of women experience that. And it's really a weird experience because for a lot of women, we're kind of treated as we have to learn to mask. We have to learn to, take care of other people's needs in a way. So it's kind of like those needs that you have as an autistic person are kind of, bypassed. And when I realized I was autistic, my whole life made sense. And everything that had happened to me in school made sense. The way people treated me, why people laughed at me and I didn't know why. Like so many, obvious autistic things that I never really realized within myself. I knew about autism. I'm very educated on autism, but I never really saw it in myself until, I grew up and people were dead ass telling me, "Are you autistic?" And I was like, what in the world? Like, what are you talking about? And that's when I realized it all made sense. But one thing I've realized growing up autistic is I've gravitated towards a lot of autistic people, and in that you meet a lot of autistic men, a lot of autistic boys, and their experience of autism is so different. The way that they show their autism, I like to say.
I was gonna say there's a weird truth to the incredibly played out girls with autism, boys with autism meme.
Right. Yeah, it's so played out, but it's also so real because when I was growing up, like my cousin with autism, he was very much a Randy. Every single other autistic person I met that was male was very much a Randy, unfortunately. But that was kind of like the guys that I'd end up with because it was like my cousin, all the people were near me. And we'd always have these kind of autism battles. It's like, even though I didn't know I was autistic, it's like we'd have these like autism battles, who's more autistic, who knows more about fandom, and as well as those creepy things like with the Randy thing, like even my own cousin being kind of creepy and me wanting to help him, but me realizing, is this because of his autism? This
is going to sound weird. I've found the phrase special interest to be extremely cumbersome.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just like, warning. I feel like autism, when it just comes as just warning, I may over encumber you. Be careful.
I may over encumber you with everything that I love.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful part of autism, in my opinion. That's why I love talking to other autistic individuals, because they really get that. I let them talk about their stupid interests, and they hear about my stupid interests. It's amazing, but I think the female and male dynamic amongst autistic people in the real world is so... We're almost like segregated from each other because there's this new type of autistic man that is very fallen into the red pill culture, the BP culture of the new internet, of 4chan, of whatever. And this has always been a thing, but I think it's gotten a lot worse. And it really sucks for me going into fandom spaces, and I love autistic males. I love them. I love autistic men. I love talking to them. Even people like my cousin, even people like Randy. I love talking to them because I relate to them and I see the personhood in them, and I see them beyond what other people see as like, oh, creepy and gross and kind of ugly. Oh, it's like an unkempt. Like, I did not care that my cousin had sweaty pits when we went shopping for Black Friday together, because we were going to GameStop, So it's that type of thing, but the way that I'm treated in return is it's been so plagued by this like, women are not people, red pill. You can never be as autistic as I am, or rather, you're an object to me, so you're not really my friend. And it just really sucks because I see this misogyny in trying to make male friends, but I feel like it's even worse when you're autistic because of, the sexist nature of like video games and anime. And there's a lot of sexist undertones in these interests, and especially with how conservative the anime community has gotten recently.
Yeah, that's been real weird. It's gotten like real militant.
Like, this is not Sugoi.
Yeah, no, it is not. That's why I'm like, bring back shoujo manga. We didn't have this problem with Fruits Basket.
Because when we could appreciate femininity in fandom culture, we were obviously not going to be as sexist. I was going to say,
none of these fuckers are into Love Hina. Love Hina did not.
None of them. None of them.
But
what's funny is a lot of these guys are super into romance animes.
I'm so curious. Is Rent a Girlfriend just about a guy who's a massive cuck?
Yes.
Like, that's awesome.
And I'm not gonna.
So rad.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I have never told anyone this. I love Rent a Girlfriend.
It seems epic. I'm really. It looks like it's Umi Neko, but without magic, just finance.
Dude, no magic at all, by the way. So no magic. It's like so. I think I liked it so much because I love the concept of a rental girlfriend, a rental boyfriend, a rental family. I love the Japanese concept of that. It's so strange. That's why I very much enjoyed. Did you watch the new Brendan Fraser movie, Rental Family?
I was going to say, I have not. No, but that looks very interesting.
I very much recommend it. It was not a surface level interpretation of this at all. Like, it was very, very Japanese. I know that sounds so weeaboo of me, but it was very, very Japanese. And Brendan Fraser did an amazing job. He spoke Japanese very well. It was very impressive. Yeah.
I recently rewatched Bedazzled with a bunch of friends, and Brendan Fraser is phenomenal in that movie. You know,
Brendan Fraser he's just a gem.
He's a gem, but like it's so cool in that movie because he starts off as uncharacteristic, and then he gets totally charismatic right at the end
Wolf of Wall
to
Street?
win the girl. No, in a positive way. In a positive way. No, he becomes the embodiment of positive masculinity and letting things go. You know?
I actually have not watched Bedazzled, so I might be
Bedazzled
watching that.
is fun. It is a fun movie. I'm going to say Bedazzled is 1,000% worth a rewatch or worth a watch if you have not seen it. I prefer it to the Dudley Moore version. The Dudley Moore version is almost too horny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one is just like, you know, the Bedazzled is like Playboy swimsuit, not Playboy, Sports Illustrated swimsuit hot, you know? Like there's kind of a level.
Perfect.
Yeah, everyone kind of loves that where it's like that's awesome and tasteful right there. Swimsuit
like
issue.
Like anime girls in swimsuits is what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'm thinking Misato. Is it Misato level sexy?
My favorite sexy anime girl was always did you ever see Magical Shopping Arcade Abenobashi?
Oh brother, no.
Okay.
Yo, that sounds awesome.
It is very awesome.
Can you write that down?
It is very awesome. It is a good old Gainax one season season wonder.
Really?
Yes.
Gainax?
It was the Gainax one. And the whole premise was that it's like there are these two kids in Osaka. One's
my favorite town.
Yeah, one's this like young, punky, snot-nosed cowboy kid, and the other one is his best friend who's a girl, and her parents are about to move out of the shopping arcade. What?
Is he a Yankee?
No, he's not like a Yankee. You'll see there's a Yankee in the show, but it's not him.
Okay.
But like basically all of a sudden one day right before Army's supposed to move out, they wake up and they're in a completely different version of their shopping arcade, and each episode is like a different alternate reality of their shopping arcade. They have like the RPG world, they have the sci-fi world, they have the martial arts world. But it's all the same neighborhood and it's all the same characters, and they have to find a goblin in order to wish them back to their home. Yes, so a lot of fillery
like
kind
Rick
of
and
stuff,
Morty.
some episodes that aren't great, but you know, there's some unbelievably great Gainax shit in there, and the opening's a bop. But the reason why I say that is also mysteriously in all these dimensions there's this incredibly hot girl with glasses named Miss Mune Mune, and I'm going to drop Miss Mune Mune in the chat. Let me do that real quick.
I would love to see her.
And yeah, that's where I will leave my.
She's so. I would.
Yeah,
I fall in love with her too.
There we go.
I love a girl in glasses. I love an anime girl in glasses. Hence why I wear glasses even though I don't need them.
Oh, yeah. That's a smart move. I need to keep wearing glasses all the time now, even though I don't know where my. Don't tell anyone. I don't know where my current pair of glasses are. They're like somewhere stuck under my bed.
How are you seeing?
I have contact lens.
Oh, you're sellout. How contact lens? That's for normies, Luke.
Yeah, and you know what? And you know what? Sometimes I like actually having clear vision. So...
no, I'm totally joshing you, but what the hell were we talking about? I just started imagining all these beautiful waifus.
I was going to say, no, the second that we got a Miss Mune Mune, to be frankly, I don't want to talk about anything else.
Right? What the hell were we talking about, Tony? Hey, he doesn't even know. So, it's okay. Let's give ourselves some time to think. But we were talking about anime.
Anime. Well, I'm very curious because you said you grew up in the Middle East.
Egypt,
all sorts of stuff. So, what would you say? What were some of the cultural differences that you've experienced in Middle Eastern fandom spaces versus Western fandom spaces?
So, for me as a Middle East Jin, I would say it's very different. It's very strange. So most Middle Eastern anime fans, I don't consider Egypt the Middle East. This is my take because it's in Africa, but that's a whole nother conversation that is politically charged and very, very deep culturally. But past that, if you grow up in Egypt, Syria, anywhere around that diaspora, you're gonna first watch anime on a channel called MBC3, also known Space Toon. You're gonna see your first anime is probably gonna be Sindbad, which is 1970s anime, or right? Isn't that funny? And it's the one that's based off of like an Arabic character, so it's hilarious. Or you're gonna see One Piece, or you're gonna see Naruto, or you're gonna see Dragon Ball Z is the biggest one. Another thing, Candy. So a lot of the old shoujo from the 70s is what they played on Space Toon, which is also a parallel to Mexico. They also watched that when they were growing. A lot of Mexican moms love Candy, which is so beautiful, right? But I, of course, first saw anime on Space Toon. I was like, wow, this is such... I didn't realize what anime was. I was like, I like this animation style. And all my cousins, like, my family comes from a slum in Egypt. They still live there. So they... Unfortunately, but they love it there. So we've tried to have them move out so many times. They refuse, but they watch Space Toon and get introduced to anime. So we're all otaku by birth, basically, in Egypt, or the Middle East. So it's a very big fandom space in the Middle East, anime is. But the problem is there's not as much demand for an actual convention. So finding that like community of anime fans was hard. The first convention ever in Qatar that I ever went to in my life was IGN. It was the smallest IGN convention. It was the size of my bedroom.
What does IGN stand for?
IGN, isn't it? It's the video game people. They do.
Like, oh wow, they did a con in Qatar.
Yeah, when I was 13. So that's maybe like 2011 now. Yeah, 2012? Something like that. I was 13. But I went to the con because I wanted to go to an anime convention, but it was like a video game, all comic, whatever. But there was a small anime community in the one small room we had at IGN. And I met like the only anime fans in the country. And it was very weird because the only girl that I met, she was a Qatari national. They're treated like royalty, by the way. They get an allowance from the government. They're very rich, the Qatari nationals. And it was a hobby for her, of course. With all that money, you might as well like something. So she would show up to the conventions in a wig instead of a hijab. And that's very strange because in Qatar, it's kind of the norm. If you're a Muslim woman, you got to wear a hijab. If you're a Qatari national, you have to wear a hijab. But she showed up with a wig and like a cosplay that was covering her completely. And I just never thought that could ever occur. So that was a culture shock. Yeah, and we became friends for a while. And she was super cool. She was so tokey. She loved pandas. But I met her there, and then my first like introduction to merch or whatever, they had one booth for anime, and it had pins, these free pins they were giving out that said "Notice Me Senpai," and I put it on right here on my chest, and I was so proud. I was so happy. But I remember I met my crush. My crush was at the IGN the same day I was. Mind you, my crush was 18 years old. Like, he was a metalhead. He was 18. His name was Dempsey. Dempsey, shout out to you. Low-key, you suck, and you tried to hit me up as soon as I turned 19, and fuck you. But Dempsey was there, and who else was there? My principal was there, or my history teacher was there. So it was the weirdest thing ever. So my crush Dempsey was there, and I was like, I put the Notice Me Senpai pin on, and I was just trying to get him to notice it. I was like, "Notice me, senpai. Notice me, senpai. Notice me, senpai."
Yes.
You know, that type of shit. You
were doing the IRL. You were really playing.
Yes, I was playing the long game, bro. I was getting him sprites from the little free free drinks thing. I was like, "Do you want another Sprite, senpai?" You know, like I was unhinged. But my history teacher showed up. He shows up with a mohawk. And he's balding. He's this like British, tall British man, blonde, balding. He shows up to the convention. He's got all the tiny pieces of hair he has left, and he's put them all in a mohawk. And he's like, "Yo, guys, what's up, dudes? You're at the convention? I didn't know you dudes were so cool, dude." And I'm like, "Why are you talking like that? Like, at school, you're not like that." I was disturbed. And then we had a special guest. It was the guy from Game of Thrones, the really beefy guy from Game of Thrones was there.
Oh, like one of the mountains?
I think so. And Dempsey and my history teacher were fans.
Or was it Hodor?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, you guys got Hodor.
I was not a fan, to be honest. I was so senpai. I was so anime. I really was not into it. But I wanted to show them that I was cool. So I was like, yeah. I wanted to prove to my history teacher and my crush that I was cool. Now looking back at it, that was the weirdest first con experience ever. So like, that's how it's like.
that's So, like, was there any sort, because you said with the hijab, was there any sort of like government standard or like censorship that was going on? Like,
dude, absolutely.
what was and not allowed at the cons, and what was and wasn't allowed on the TV?
You absolutely cannot wear anything above the knee. I had to wear skirts below my knee until I left the country, until I went to America. I felt so free when I came here, honestly. Like, I hate to frame the Middle East as not free for women, but honestly, yeah, it is. I'm a Middle Eastern woman.
So were we dealing with non-regulation Sailor Moon outfits? Like,
yes, bro, Sailor Moon wearing tights, wearing jeans underneath the skirt.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it's like, the level of creativity that you have to have and adaptability to be an anime fan in the Middle East, especially in a heavy regulated country like Qatar. You can get deported for wearing a skirt above your knee. Arrested.
Do you know anyone who like tried to fuck with that? Was there
Me?
like, yeah.
And I was slapped by my mother so many times, and thank God I never got in trouble. But also one of my friends, I have to say, he was like the gay best friend, because he would like show up with makeup in a Middle Eastern Muslim country.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
makeup.
what's like the feeling on Yaoi and Yuri in general?
Oh, well, guess what? That Qatari girl, and I don't know her name, so I'm not gonna out her. She loved Yaoi. She loved Yaoi, and so did I. So Yaoi. Middle Eastern girls love yaoi. They love BL. They love boys love. They love IRL shipping men. They love it. It's like how, you know how porn sites are most used in the Middle East where they're banned? It's the same exact thing for Middle Eastern girls and yaoi. Like, you're going to find the most yaoi fans in the Middle East. 100%.
That's really... It's so interesting, because I feel like that's equally screwy as much as like how Japan is also screwy about all that shit. You know, and it's weird being. It's like when you think about, like, you know, American representation of like gay relationships, they're very radical, very true, you know, very like civil rights driven. Right. And when you're dealing with like all of this, you know, with social, it's like it's about, ooh, isn't it naughty? You know,
it's naughty, and it's secret, and it's soft, and it's docile, and it's
ooh,
you know.
Ooh. But remember, don't actually do this in real life. That's silly. Don't. Whatever you do, remember.
Never do that, because then you'll be exiled. Remember, hammer yourself down. Hammer the nail. Hammer the nail.
Ooh.
Ooh, I love going to the yaoi cafe, but also don't bring that shit around me and my children. You know? That's one thing that happened. Do you know Malice Miser?
No, I don't.
Oh, Luke, come on.
Miser.
Malice Miser is a VK, one of the top VK Japanese bands, like prolific, like known by everyone that is into VK. So don't feel too bad. It's pretty like
I mean, niche, I know Deer and Grey, like that's the extent of my VK, so.
Hey, that's based. Yeah. But one of the members, Mana-sama, is not trans, but rather two-spirit is what I would, you know, there's a certain thing.
Oh, I know Mana, though. That's weird. I do know Mana. Yeah.
Yeah. So the horrible thing, it's not even funny, it's sad. Mana made a career off of this. Guess what? His sister will not let him show up in his natural Mana-sama getup to her children, because she thinks it's a disgrace. Like, it's real. That's really Japan. That's really, like, you're going to get famous for this, but your family's never going to accept you. What's up with that?
That's so screwy right there. Oh my god. I mean, like, that to make the most broad cultural statement, that's some real Mulan shit right there.
Right? Oh my god,
Also,
who's that
big up
girl I
to
see?
Mulan. What a great fucking movie.
Who is that girl I see staring straight back at me?
You have a great
When
voice.
will my reflection show? Thank you. I'm a singer. My goal is to be bigger than MJ. I know I'm not. My vocals are not MJ. My goal is bigger than MJ. Thank you very much. I love when people
bigger than
say
Mary
that.
Jane. Bigger than Mary Jane.
Bigger than Mary Jane, but trust me, I've been doing vocal exercises where I do crunches with my partner sitting on top of me. I will reach MJ status. Don't worry.
Whoa, damn girl. Damn.
I have real big dreams, and I realized the only way I'm gonna get to them is like by having another human being put all their weight on me while I belt out. You know, it's like it's this sentiment of like having big dreams that I've been posting a lot about. It's like that drive, and I know that drive has been very in the Western view right now. It's very like I don't know how to say it. It's very Wolf of Wall Street, but in my view, I'm very Disney Channel about it. Like, I'm very Mulan
let me
about
ask you
it.
this.
I'm very Disney
I'm very
about
curious. What is
Yeah.
your TikTok feed like? What does your TikTok look like?
it. So it looks like. Wait, it's also crazy you said Mary Jane because we were just watching Spider-Man. Sorry, I have to say
Oh, that's
that.
fine.
We just watched Spider-Man
We
last
just
night.
watched Reefer
Spider-Man 3.
Madness the musical, so that's where my. Have you seen Reefer Madness the musical?
No, you're so funny. What the hell
Oh,
are you
it's
talking
great.
about?
It's so fucking great. Kristen Bell's in it. It's amazing.
Oh, I love Kristen Bell. Okay.
Oh, then you have to watch Reefer
Sign me
Madness
up.
the musical.
But
Yes.
what I was saying is like, that very Disney Channel view of going after your goals. I know that capitalism sold it to us. I don't care. I believe in it 100% because I'm just very much a person. It's like the pureness of your soul can get you anywhere. The childlike belief that you can do anything can get you wherever the fuck you want. Cynicism comes with adulthood. And I refuse to grow up if that means I become a cynic who doesn't believe in myself. So I guess that's like what I've been trying to push on TikTok because I feel like the very grindy, like go after your dreams type of thing, has been bothering me. And about my TikTok feed is like, that's exactly what it is like, these creators that are coming up that are saying the same thing. Like, it's not grind set. It's more like, do you have a dream? Do you genuinely believe in it? Can you tap into childlike joy to create something great? So that's a lot of what my For You page is. I'm very motivational in that aspect where I just like feed myself the good vibes.
Because I get
don't know,
marble races.
What?
I like marble races.
Marble
like
races.
Yeah, they set up these dope marble courses, and then I'm like, oh shit, here we go. It's gonna be the red one. It's gonna be the yellow one. Here we fucking go.
Who do you think it's gonna be?
Yeah, no, I just have like
That's
super brain
fucking
rotting like
hysterical.
mazes and like fucking breakout games.
Dude.
It's real, just pure
What's
dopamine simulation. It's awesome.
What's the most brain rot thing you've seen me watch on TikTok, Tony? I watch a lot of garbage. You know, past all the motivational stuff, I do watch quite a lot of garbage. And one thing that I really like to watch, which is kind of like a guilty pleasure, is, you know, those really crappy, like, where they post all the episodes of a TV show or like a movie on TikTok?
Oh wow, you do that?
I do that. It's really my one guilty pleasure.
It's weird. One that just showed up today was like this weird dark animals eating people comic.
Huh?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was like some manga that was like a real weird J horror thing where there was like very very Island of Dr. Moreau, but like
Oh, this
but
is
a
so up
J
Tony's
horror.
alley. So up Tony's alley.
I don't know what it was. I'll see if I can find. I think I bookmarked
Oh.
one or two of them.
Have you read Crossed?
No.
No! Do you know of Crossed?
No.
Oh, God. Oh, You know what? You can look it up
I
later.
don't
I don't want
want
to ruin your life
You
right
know,
now.
I don't want this to be. I want my life to be sunnier. I don't want to put in. There's
Dude,
enough
it's gonna
weird
fuck
shit
you
going
up
on.
mentally.
All right,
Don't
I don't
read
want
it.
to think about it. I'm okay.
That's one thing I did want to ask you. I've been talking about this a lot in the podcast. I want to ask you, because I feel like, as well as an autistic person, for me, I don't know how to explain this. Drugs always felt like a cool people thing. I don't. Do you resonate with that at all?
Oh yeah. Especially like I've had all kinds of up and downs experiences on drugs. And you know what? I kind of almost like I don't want to talk about it
It's
as like
okay.
a
It's okay.
personal thing, but I think that there is something weird to be saying where like a lot of the pressures that I felt that people try to deal with through like I went through a lot of quack therapy as a
Mm,
kid. And I
mm-hmm.
honestly do feel like one of the big things that I had another friend and we were talking about like weird autistic trauma and like
Right.
what she said because she was talking about this with her boyfriend
Mm.
and her boyfriend said I really wish you had a brother or sister living with you so you could have some kind of perspective on the crazy shit that you were going through growing up.
Mm.
And so I'm like, I grew up as a sober kid, but there's a part of me that wonders, if I did loosen up with pot, maybe that would have lowered my anxiety. But like at the same
Right. Right.
time, how much that was also just be giving I that's an interesting because you're a late diagnosis. I was an
Yeah.
early diagnosis, and that's like a
Right.
whole
It's a completely different experience,
it's
I
a completely
feel.
different experience. Yeah, because like a
Mm.
lot of people look at autism as this sort of like liberating thing, and I always looked at it as like a ball and chain that I had to deal.
Wow. Okay,
Uh,
so that's so true, and I can appreciate that because I feel like as someone who figured out they had autism later, it did feel like a superpower to me. It made everything make sense. It made me feel better about everything that happened because I didn't know that's why.
yeah.
So that's such an interesting different experience that you knew, so it always felt like a burden. And even when I found out, it kind of did feel like a burden, but at the same time I realized it was freeing. So it's such a crazy different experience there.
One of the most profound things I ever heard about autism, and it's something that I really feel like um everyone should take to heart to a certain extent. It was a talk with a friend of mine who's like very deep, and the
Mm,
same friend who had a problem with the Napoleon Dynamite representation. And one
right.
thing that we both kind of said is autism is actually a lot like Catholicism, in the
Oh
sense
my
that
god.
for like some people, it's this source of incredible liberation and feeling, and for others, it's a massive source of trauma, and it's a very complicated, dark subject, but it's still like
Right.
a part of their lives. And I think that like that is the kind of nuance that it should be examined with
Yes,
instead of just like
absolutely.
constantly I'm a believer in it if only because I believe in nothing else, but I believe in the Pygmalion effect. And I think
Mm,
that like everyone's habit of laughing autism off and everybody putting baby in the corner, so to speak, like it's
right.
really messed with like the label and the condition and the meaning of it.
Mm,
And it's a subject for me because I see so many people who I'm like you can be many who I believe are many things, but I don't think are socially disabled, who I
mm,
don't think have a
mm-hmm,
social impairment, which is such a
mm-hmm.
cruel thing to have. Like, and I'm saying when you have it to a severe degree, like when you
Right.
can't hold down a job or interact with people regularly because of a social impairment, and people
Mm.
look at that as like being feeble almost, or like a
They
form of
absolutely do.
weakness.
They do.
Um, and I think that that's like, you know what? I think people need to, there's so many people like, I think you honestly need to reassess how you're viewing that and how you're treating that and how you see
Right.
that in other people. Because I think you do take your awareness and knowledge for granted. And I think that like, what I believe true is that there's like an intense degree of psychopathy amongst people that we identify as neurotypical.
I agree. I agree
So that
100%.
I think is the
I agree
biggest one.
100%.
Is I
Yes.
think neurotypical people are freaking psychos.
Yeah.
That's why I love like in a weird way I love Blue Velvet because like
Mm.
I look at
Yes.
Frank Booth like the Dennis Hopper character in Blue
Yes.
Velvet and I'm like you're the most neurotypical person I've ever seen. You're just so neurotypical. You have to use the freaking oxygen mask to like regulate yourself emotionally, like
Yeah.
Like that's how I kind of look at it at the very least. And I feel bad because I think that there is this sort of like wannabe storybook mentality and this love of narrative amongst neurodivergent people, which is
Yeah.
beautiful, but at the same time, we live in a shitty world. That's like the other crazy kind of thing about it. And I don't want to get too deep in that
Right.
rabbit hole right there, but I think that you know, I don't want to go down on this rabbit hole too much because this is also what I talked about on the last podcast, but also because it's unavoidable and I feel like I have to bring it up. But like,
Right.
there's people that openly feel okay with saying, I watch and enjoy Love on the Spectrum, or I think Love on the
Okay.
Spectrum
I have
is a
something to say about
wholesome
Love on the
program.
Spectrum. I
Feel
have something to
free,
say
go
about
for
it.
it. Say,
So, Love on the Spectrum is a very complex feeling for me. Because while at the same time I know that it's made for the neurotypicals, I know that it's literally made for them and it perpetuates so many harmful stereotypes. However, it was the first time I saw an extroverted autistic girl just like me. It
yeah,
was the first time I saw a lesbian love story between two autistic women that was so real and so rooted in reality. And there were so many things about it as an autistic person that I could appreciate. But at the same time, it's such a bittersweet emotion because of
yeah,
not only how Netflix treats the autistic individuals who are on the show. Like, for instance, they kicked off one of the girls because she wasn't high need enough. And
oh yeah,
that's, that's
Caitlin, right? Didn't
ridiculous.
wasn't that Caitlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a slippery slope. And it's so, I just wish
I
that,
I want to say here's what I want to say to your experience into that, because I think that
yes,
that's wonderful, and I think that that is good that you got to see yourself, and I think you deserve so much better than that.
so much better. I agree. So much
That's
better.
what I think.
It's
I
like
think that
taking
you
crumbs.
got bread scraps when you should have been having a whole meal right there. That's
That
my
I
thought.
appreciate that. That like fills my heart, and I know every autistic person listening is thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, it was good, kind of. It was like scraps
It
for
was
us,
good,
but
kind of. It's like, why did there
yeah,
have to be the kind of? Why was
right.
the kind of
The
necessary
only
at
freaking
all? In
reason
this?
I like it is because it made me feel something for a bit, and I love the cast members so much. They're just wondrous people.
Oh yeah.
It inspired me to go to autistic speed dating even though I'm in a relationship. You feel me? Like, I was like, I want to meet you guys. I want to meet fellow autists. I'm always in my room with my partner who's kind of autist. But,
Yeah.
the Ren Fair is the last time I was with my fellow autists, and that was beautiful. So maybe I just need to keep going out there.
Well, I just feel like here's the thing is I feel like you're able, you live in that reality, you experience.
Mm,
Why does that feel like there's still such a divorce between that and the entertainment and the fictional versions that we see of this being portrayed? And it's
so
still
true.
there. And the answer that, I've realized is it comes down to like a shitty factor of economics and creating by creativity. And
Right.
it's hard to get anything made. And if you're trying to promote any sort of statement on neurodiversity, then you're really fighting a
Yep. You're
freaking
fighting
uphill
tooth and
battle.
bone,
Yeah,
actually.
you're swimming upstream in a hurricane right there. Because I
Watch
think
me
that one.
become a billionaire tycoon so I can fund all of these projects. Watch
Please
me.
do. Go for it. But I speak from my personal experience when I'm like, I went to art school. I went to that. Nobody I met ever took. I will say the first moment, this is true. And it was the same, like 2Kawaii4Comfort started in a playwriting class.
Oh,
And it
really?
started as the first episode, just everybody in a car. Because I was like, that's what happened growing up. Like the car ride from hell was
Yeah, the
such a
car ride from hell. It's like 6 hours long.
yeah, and it's such a special experience to like the level of tension you can have
It's so true.
on that is something extraordinary to witness. And it was weird to be like, didn't we all used to enjoy what happened? Didn't this used to be
Right.
as I'll say, like Too Quiet for Comfort, the two biggest inspiration, I think one. Do you remember the card game Munchkin?
It might be a little bit out of my age range.
Okay, so Munchkin was kind of like an older anime con nerd activity, and the
Oh,
premise of Munchkin was like it's a card game, but we have an absurd amount of modifiers, and you're trying to equip your character with like the boots of snakeability, like it's invisible
that's so
snakes, and that
that's
gives
so
like a plus
stupid. I
three
want to
bonus.
play.
Yeah, I know it's a very fun game, but like the whole joke is that you hoard all these ridiculous power ups, and then you're like, "Oh, I killed you! Ha ha ha! You get knocked down to
Oh,
zero."
that
And
is
like
so accurate to the fucking temperament of someone in that space
yeah,
back
exactly.
then.
So and so Munchkin, and I was playing again, like I played it, and I used to have so much fun playing Munchkin. I'm like, ha ha ha, Munchkin's so much fun.
Right.
And there were a lot of expansions, big nerd thing. And then I was at a friend's house, and it was kind of rainy, and like we were just separated from the main group. With them, and they were the couple, and I was a single guy, and they were kind of on the rocks. They were in a weird relationship.
Oh, that's always horrible.
That was a weird thing, but we were like, "Hey, let's play some Munchkin," and I'm like, "Sure." And the weird thing was, we were playing Munchkin, and it was just dead silent. Like it was just
Oh,
dead silent the entire time. Like, and it was weird. I'm like, this is the weirdest game of Munchkin I've ever experienced. Ever. And the tension was so thick. And then I just remember, like, after I played a card, I just went, um, I think I killed you. And then he literally slammed his fist on the table. Like the table audibly shook. And I'm like, whoa.
dude,
Whoa. This is the
it got too real.
whoa. Oh shit, are we adults now? That was depressing. So that was like one of the big germinating seeds was that
Dude,
one particular game of Munchkin. Um but and I was trying to think about where that kind of got back into Love on the Spectrum and the autism stuff.
right.
Um but like when it comes to like the Love on the Spectrum stuff,
It's
it's
it's wacky, man.
it's very wacky, and I just wish the people that felt normal about liking it and felt proud about liking it felt a fraction of the shame I felt growing up
Right.
autistic.
Yeah.
That's what oh no, and this was what I was gonna say. So when I was writing the playwriting class, the 2Kawaii4Comfort started as a play, and it was the car ride from hell scene, and I wrote one other scene before that. It was a scene.
Oh.
It was not from 2Kawaii4Comfort. It was a completely separate play, and the working title of the play, I don't remember exactly, because like I grew up. One of my close family friends was a child's birthday clown.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, his name was Dondo the Magic Clown.
Dondo the Magic Clown.
Dondo the Magic Clown, yes, very
That's
beloved community member. He was the one
insane.
who blew
Wow.
the shofar every year at Temple Emmanuel. Don Gantz, aka Dondo the Magic Clown.
The
Which
goat.
growing up with a figure in your life like Dondo the Magic Clown, you can only imagine the feelings that one has. And I was kind of writing a
Yes.
play on that when you're like a weird. And the scene that I wrote, it was this this party clown trying to talk a kid off of his roof, and he's explaining to the kid this weird story about how he was once at this um kid's birthday party, and he said, "Can you give me one wish?" And the kid wished, "Can you make my autism disappear?"
Oh. Yeah.
And everyone in the playwriting class looked so shocked, like shocked beyond belief.
I'm shocked. That's
And
good,
I
man.
didn't realize. I'm just like, what? Oh, you weren't aware that this was my entire childhood? Oh, what? And I didn't realize how fucked up that was until like years later.
That's actually that's kind of beautiful.
It's kind of beautiful. I wish I actually wrote that out as like a straight play.
There's always
It
time.
there's always
Hmm?
time, and there's always more, especially because like I still have not seen, the only play theater work I've seen is Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which is
Mm.
also just kind of like an Aspie exploitation story, but it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and I quite enjoyed parts of it. But again, the author who wrote that was not autistic.
Right.
Um,
It's
the,
a severe
and
lack of
also what I will
autistic
say
people.
is living with autism as a condition and living with a diagnosis are twin snakes. You know, they're two linked experiences, but they're not the same experience.
No. No.
Also, because I grew up with fucking Asperger's syndrome, and
Oh
shit
no.
got so deleted. You know, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. Like it got rolled back
That
in the DSM-6.
Oh, it's
And
completely gone now.
yeah,
It
now
doesn't
it's just all
exist.
part of ASD. Yeah, because they realized whoever the hell thought it was a
It
sane
was a
idea.
Nazi or
So, yeah, it
something
was
that
no, there was some shit. Yeah, I said some kids to die. But like, you know, who the fuck ever thought it was acceptable to give a child a condition with a name as fucking humiliating as
as Asperger's.
Asperger's.
Agreed. I never
That
thought
is
that was
cruel.
right.
That is cruel and unusual that happened.
I mean,
And
I think it was purposeful.
mm,
I do. I mean, it's kind of the life of an autistic person for society to purposely try and humiliate you for your existence because they don't want us to live. They don't want us to be here.
oh no,
The
yeah, it's such
capitalistic
an
world doesn't want
inconvenience.
us.
It's such a fantastic inconvenience for us to exist.
Yes, for them, even though we are honestly, in my opinion, if you think of any great artist, they were probably autistic, and I hate to diagnose them, but let's be for real, those are not neurotypical traits that make such beautiful art. No offense, neurotypicals.
It was interesting. I was running into like a weird thing with my hyperfixations a while ago where I felt like my hyperfixations felt like, you know, when you chew Trident or chew gum past the point of enjoyability,
Yeah, when it
and
tastes
you
like
just
nothing.
and it tastes like nothing, but you're still doing it because for some reason just the stimulation of doing something is more important to your mind being able to concentrate than the absence of something. You know, that's at least what my
That's real.
weird special interest nonsense always kind of felt like.
It
Like
actually
again,
does feel
feeling
like that.
encumbered, just feeling over encumbered that I don't know.
It almost, for me, it almost got to the point where I kind of hated my hyperfixations, but I still indulge in them, which is an interesting thing. When you get to, you're never sick of it, but you're sick of it. That's one thing for me. And you always come back. But that was very beautifully said. I'm kind of just ruminating over it. Ah, damn, it is like that.
I always think that like the one thing that I love about 2Kawaii4Comfort still is that I feel like after people have seen it, it feels like we've had a conversation, you know?
Yeah, it
Like,
does.
and I think that it's like why I think that particular story works as an artistic statement in addition to a narrative one is that it's almost like this is going to sound weird, but there's a book called Perfume. Have you ever heard of Perfume?
The J-pop group, the book, no.
No, the book. The book was this like thriller. It's this like Parisian thing about this guy named Grenouille, Jean-Baptiste Grenouille, and he's got like
Jean-Baptiste Grenouille. I know this, but I don't know
he's
this.
like
Yeah.
he like has a superhuman ability to smell, and he becomes this like very famous perfumer, and then by the end of the book he's like putting people into perfume. He's trying to turn
I
people
know this story.
into
Yeah.
perfume. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like there is something kind of perfume-like about 2Kawaii4Comfort, where it's like it's trying to capture an essence and a moment that sort of defies words and description and just sort of exists as
And
a
it smells
sensation.
way too strongly for
Way too strong.
regular
Yeah, no,
people.
that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. It's like it's almost like I was thinking about it's like having chlorine sting your eyes. Like chlorine stinging your eyes is such
Going
an
up your nose.
uncomfortable- Yeah, but it's such a visceral feeling. Like you never forget that. You never forget the experience of chlorine.
No, and I will truly never forget the experience of 2Kawaii4Comfort. You absolutely nailed that. Like,
That was always my one biggest fear was like people would be like, "Oh, this wasn't accurate or realistic enough." And that seems to be
every
the one
autistic person's
complaint we've
fear.
never and that seems to be the one complaint we never have. I will say
Yeah.
that I encountered like one or two people that were like, like anime fans don't, you know, talk fake Japanese like that. And
Yes,
I'm
they
like,
do.
no,
You're
we
a
did.
you're
Oh,
a
we did.
normie.
Oh, we
You're brand
absolutely
new.
fucking did. There
Like,
was
bro,
a
you're a
time.
transplant.
There was a time and a place where we 100% all were trying to speak Japanese. You know, we
That's
did it
right,
with a
Luke-san.
degree of irony. We did it with a degree of irony
Not
to
me.
it. Okay,
Not
you were
me.
full on.
Not me, senpai.
Not you. Oh god.
I straight up did say that to my crush. Hey, senpai. Like, I was unhinged. I was
Wow.
unhinged. And actually, so far when you've been referencing like real life, like media, and I've been relating it to anime, it feels very much like that conversation between Toki and Spencer. You
Yeah.
know, I was listening to
Because
Cowboy
I
Bebop, and
always
I
like.
kind of
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
no, it was like that the scene where Spencer Coon's like, I found this in my brother's room because I like the
Oh,
Cowboy Bebop OST, and then Toki was like, is it Nightcore? Oh, Jazu, you like Jazu? I related to that. So that feels like our whole conversation so far is you just saying real life media, and I'm like, oh, like Jazu.
Well, what's interesting, and like especially like a lot of the anime that I grew up interesting, anime had like American roots. Like a lot of
yeah.
this, yeah, like all the stuff that inspired anime was like was a lot of Western stories and storytelling.
Have you
and
seen
like
the fan community in Japan of people who are fans of America and cowboys? It's huge.
yeah, it's massive. And like, you know, it just
The
kind of
greasers too.
yeah, and then of course now anime exists as this like weird big-titted cloned inbred baby.
Yup.
But like but like actually I'll just leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it at but like end of podcast. There we go.
That was like the perfect, yeah.
Oh no, but I was thinking about that, so where it's like when we were doing 2Kawaii, I kind of wanted to make it like one of the big rules that we had. There was like a few rules because I'm a big fan of rules. I think
So autistic.
So autistic. Like the rule one was like because every web series was a shaky cam, The Office style web series.
Oh my god, true.
And I was like, no, we keep the camera play. We shoot this like an Ozu movie. We keep it on sticks. Like all like as much as we can, and we only use
cinematic as fuck, dude.
camera. And I was like, well, the thing I love about it is that it's cinematic, but it's not trying to be glamorous. You know, like the shot compositions are very strong, but they're doing it to serve the story. You know, like they aren't trying to be like these picturesque landscapes.
What's his name? What's that guy's name who makes the horrible movies that all the artsy, pretentious kids love? I hate his movies. Wes Anderson. I can't stand it because it has no substance to me.
Oh, there's some good Wes Andersons though. Freaking
okay. There's some good, like Fantastic Mr. Fox is amazing.
Fantastic Mr. Fox. Tenenbaum slaps. Tenenbaum fucking rules.
But something like the one about the hotel movie. I don't like movies that are purely about aesthetics. I'm really not into it. I like it deep. I like it real, and that's kind of like pretentious to say, but I need some substance to enjoy something, and 2Kawaii did give me that very much, as well as giving me that cinematic pretentious need I needed.
One that I love, I still love the opening of Randy's episode when it's just the giant one take scene of nobody talking to each other and Toki's crying on the bed. And then, because I stole that from a Bong Joon Ho movie.
You like Bong Joon Ho too?
I am Mr. Bong Joon Ho, actually.
We're literally the Bong Joon Ho couple of Georgia.
Oh, that's funny. Do you know?
Bong Joon Ho.
Well, I have to ask the big question. Do you know the video about how Snowpiercer can work as a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, actually, yes. We
yeah, that's also me.
What? What do you mean?
Yeah. If I made that video.
You made that video?
Yes.
No fucking way.
No fucking way.
Dude, you're the GOAT. I love you. I'm so sorry for gushing about you so much, but I love you.
What the fuck? I
Appreciate it. No, fun fact. So there were two Bong Joon Ho.
Wow.
Like I think the host was actually like the biggest influence on
goat.
2Kawaii4Comfort because it was like it was about emotional whiplash. And there's a part in the host where the family all like sits down to have dinner just like that, and it's just completely silent, just them eating instant ramen, and then all of a sudden the girl pops up in the background, and it was just one solid take, and it comes out of fucking nowhere, and I'm like, this is the most, what the fuck is going on? And that was like when I saw that, I was like 16 when I saw that, and that was like my favorite thing I'd
Whoa.
ever seen in a movie ever. I was like, dude, that
Um,
oneer from The Host was just so unreal, and that one. So that scene at the opening of 5, because then we interrupt it, and I think it's funny how we interrupt it. Like we cut it all off for
yeah.
the sake of comedy. And the other one, when Rita throws the frickin' shoe at the No Face
At the no
cosplayer,
face.
that is
Yeah.
very much an homage to Snowpiercer
Wow. That
happening right
dude.
there.
Everything's all connected. That's very strange.
Oh,
That's
believe me, I
beautiful.
know you do not want me to. You do not want to get me started on fucking Snowpiercer. That is actually my special
Um,
interest that I've had to keep in a fucking jar.
do you I wanted to ask you, did you enjoy Memories of Murder?
Yeah, Memories of Murder is fantastic. I was thinking about this. We're like, that's the most somber Bong Joon Ho film. Like that's the
Yes. It
most.
really is.
It really is. And if I had to like ask him, I would just be like, what was it like to like try to go to making a comedy after that? Because that's such an
And
incredibly
I
dark,
know it's
layered,
so
significant, and serious. So I'm gonna say this. Here's
yes.
my freaking out, which I'll do. I do not. I think Parasite is fine. I think Mother is the best Bong Joon Ho movie.
Oh,
I
dude.
think it
Oh,
goes.
oh my God, you're speaking my language.
No,
That-
literally, you're the goat. Also, Parasite was fine. I agree. It was
Parasite
just
fine.
fine.
I feel like the people who were freaking out about it have never
Yeah.
seen a Korean movie before.
Dude,
Because
Especially Mother. Oh my God.
literally.
That changed
You're
my life.
speaking our language. I love you.
yeah,
You
no,
know what's
I
up.
think it literally goes for
Huh.
me. I think it goes The Mother, and it's
Wow.
a tie between. I mean, Memories of Murder is objectively a
How
better
about Lady
picture, but
Vengeance?
it's a tie between The Host and Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer is slightly in the lead for personal reasons, of course,
I
but
know
like,
that this is so unrelated, but now I have to ask you about what Korean movies do you like? Did you like Lady Vengeance? Like,
oh yeah,
we
no,
love
Lady
Korean
Vengeance.
movies.
Oh, Lady Vengeance was everything for me. You know, Lady Vengeance was like I cried when I saw it as a
Oh
kid.
yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
and it's funny watching it now. I was also between you and me.
Mm.
I was not blown away with Decision to Leave, and even less. Not to dunk on my man, not to dunk on
No, you're
Master
allowed to
Park,
critique your favorite
but like
artists.
no, but like freaking even No Other Choice, I thought was not great. Especially compared with Lady Vengeance.
Yeah,
Um,
not compared to. Yeah, absolutely
No,
not.
I know it was weird because it was like growing up with those Korean movies, like they were so
Wow.
weirder and more ahead of like
That's so
anything
beautiful
that
that you
I'd
grew up
seen.
with them.
Yeah, no,
Because
like really, I think The Host was like that was the first thing that ever made me want to like seriously study writing and filmmaking. Was The Host, especially because like I talk
wow.
about this a lot. Like my dad, funny enough, I didn't realize this because my dad was a novelist. He was a fiction writer,
Wow.
and I didn't realize until well after he was dead that he
Oh.
was using my condition to write anti-vax
Oh.
conspiracy novels.
Oh.
So my parents were
Oh.
like grew up. I did not realize that I grew up in an anti-vax environment.
I'm really
Um,
sorry, Luke.
Yeah, and you know, it is what it is. Like, it was still a very loving
Yeah.
home, and it's a weird, complicated thing. And that's also why I'm like, hey, no, but to get back to that, and that's like when I was seeing The Host, like it was so funny and so weird and so calculated at the same time. But like the
Right.
theme of you have a slow main character with a viral condition that doesn't actually exist. And I
Right.
felt like I was like having an out of body experience while watching it. Like all of the major media that's mattered to me growing up are about people being misdiagnosed. So I think that
That's
like, you know, The Host can
wow.
be I always looked at like The Host as like the greatest movie about autism that has nothing to do with autism whatsoever.
So, seeing The Host through the lens of autism, this is the first time I've really connected those dots, and that's even more
Oh, because you're
beautiful
not
now.
supposed to. Because there's nothing intentionally autistic. But I think that like Bong Joon Ho's films, especially like pre Parasite,
Yeah.
were about
The golden era.
dysfunction. Yeah, the golden era,
Ah,
the streak. They're about dysfunction and they're about entropy. And I think that like dysfunction and entropy
True.
are like a trauma. Like somebody, there's an interview about Bong with this academic named Jinji Yoon, and he boiled
Yeah.
down the three basic elements of a Bong Joon Ho film as clumsiness, misrecognition, and trauma. And those are all extremely autistic
Yeah,
feelings.
I was just about to say entropy is one of the most autistic things that I can relate to.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like Memories of Murder out of all of those is like the most entropy driven because
Yeah,
you're just
that's why
watching.
you got me.
Yeah, no, there you go. I will refrain from talking about Mickey 17 because I thought it was I could not bear Mickey
Did you not
17.
like it?
I did
loved
not.
it. We
I
saw
thought
it
it
in
was
the
so
theater, but I understand why.
when I think of Bong Joon-ho, like I think of very clear exposition and very
Right.
weird. And Mickey 17 was so there was so much. It was such a flawed narrative experience.
Actually, I have an opinion about Mickey 17. I felt that it was very much more in the style of what is his name? The Hideo Kojima. I think it
Yeah,
beats more as a
you know
Hideo
what?
Kojima
It did.
production.
It felt like Bong kind of went mad with power in terms
Yeah.
of that.
Literally.
The main thing with and I think the weird thing that I'll quickly explain is like the main reason why Snowpiercer really spoke to me was I freaking did high school youth theater in the same town that Chris Evans did.
Whoa, cool.
We're both from Sudbury, Massachusetts.
Oh, shout out
And
Massachusetts.
Shout out Massachusetts. What? And growing up doing like high school special ed theater, they were like, that Chris Evans used to perform on these stages, and I was like, "What?
Dude, I
Johnny
would piss
Storm?
myself.
Get freaking real!"
I actually have a parallel. Johnny Storm, get fucking real. Dude, dude.
And then
I have a
Deadpool and
parallel
Wolverine
story.
happened, and I'm like, "This is the greatest movie I've ever
You
seen."
just started
in my...
shitting and vomiting all at once.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Dude, I have a parallel story that I'll tell you after you stop talking, okay?
Yeah, no, but weirdly it was 2013 when when Snowpiercer was coming out, because like the host was like my favorite movie, and then because Snowpiercer had a weird release, and like people were like, I was talking to somebody about it, they were like, dude, are you gonna see Snowpiercer? And like I was just like, Chris at that time, like he embodied to me the most neurotypical heteronormative like experience. Like he's the
True.
most heteronormative person I could have possibly imagined or pictured or seen. And then when I found out he's a lead, I'm like, well, only one theater geek from Sudbury is going to be in a Bong Joon Ho film. It's not going to be me. And
You don't know that.
then somebody said, dude, you don't understand. Chris Evans eats a baby. And I'm like, get the fuck out. There is no way. There's absolutely no
Dude,
way
you don't
that Chris
understand.
Evans
Chris
eats a
Evans eats a
baby in this
baby.
movie. I have got to see this. And I watched it. And I fell in love with it. And I'm like, this is, first off, what I think everyone's like, the best Chris Evans movie.
Hands down.
He is fucking amazing in Snowpiercer.
Dude,
and it
he's
was
genuinely
so
talented, yeah.
And it's like, and it was everything I love in a movie, to the point where the cast from The Host shows up in Snowpiercer. And Chris Evans is, and I'm like, you get to hang out with the fucking cast from The Host.
You lucky bastard.
Lucky
That
son
should
of a
be
bitch.
me.
That should be me.
I agree. It should be you.
And then it kind of became me, because then I hijacked the movie and accidentally created the most popular Snowpiercer fan video that will ever
You basically
exist.
made Snowpiercer.
Yeah, the one catch being is now that's become a big part of the Snowpiercer experience has been, you got to watch the movie, but then you got to watch the 15-minute video about how this can totally work as a sequel to Willy Wonka. Like, that's become a part of it, and I love that.
Actually, Tony just said he watched your video essay right after he watched Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? What a small world.
And I love that, because that movie is so delightfully weird, and it needed something that fucking weird to go along with it.
Yes, you understood the assignment.
I did understand the assignment, and so, like, in a weird way, that movie to me also is just like everything I love about weird movies in one freaking
Bong
movie.
Joon-ho is kind of the king of that effect. That's also why I love his movies very much.
Yeah, but it was weird when, like, because I will say this, I had for one brief moment the most popular Bong Joon-ho fan video pre-Parasite. And I'm
Yeah,
glad that
pre-Parasite,
happened.
dude.
Pre-Parasite, and it was repping Snowpiercer because Snowpiercer deserves the love. It's a fucking
Well,
dope
in my
movie.
opinion, yeah, more than a lot of his films deserve more love than Parasite, but Parasite is what bridged him to the West for some reason. I think it
Well,
was
that's what we
the
think. Snowpiercer
capitalist
still had
themes.
Snowpiercer still had like a huge audience. Like a
True,
lot of
true.
people
It's
still
very true.
watch Snowpiercer, even though it's like like once I tell people about Snowpiercer, they're like, "Oh wait, Bong Joon Ho directed that?"
Yeah, they don't
Like,
know that. That's
yeah.
so true.
And I think the other reason that people don't understand, it's like if you watch Snowpiercer as the spiritual successor to The Host, it's such a better movie than like if you're just watching it as a weird standalone
Right.
flick.
You need a sort of comparison. You need to like know the is it discography for film? It's like filmography. or
Filmography. It's
something.
like filmography. Yes, yes.
I'm being a musician. But I wanted to talk about how that's so beautiful that all those things kind of aligned with you in such a cosmic way. Like
Yeah, well, I
Chris
think that,
Evans,
like-
ba 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 ba, Bong Joon Ho, ba ba
Oh, yeah,
ba
and
ba.
he retweeted it. He retweeted the video.
Whoa,
Chris Evans. It
dude.
actually worked. Like the whole video is just a dumb dare on Chris Evans, and it actually
That's
pulled
awesome.
through. He wrote, I don't know what to say other than I love this and that the schnoz babies taste like schnoz babies. But
That's
yeah, but like when it comes to
fucking
Bong Joon Ho's
amazing.
style and when it comes to his thing, like
Yeah.
he's a grab bag of influences. You know, he's
He
drawing from a
is.
lot of crazy Western and Eastern sources at the same time. And he's just sort of chaotically thrown them together. And I think 2Kawaii4Comfort, like the way it takes so many different Western conventions and then throws in an Evangelion reference.
Yes,
Right,
that
and-
reference, by the way, that hit me like, I don't know, like I was a drum and someone was hitting me on my drum face. Like, I was like, whoa, hey, he referenced the thing. He referenced the
I
thing.
still love. I'm gonna say this because I feel like we did the one thing that that the live action Ava movie will never be able to
We'll never
accomplish.
be- oh my
which
god,
is- which
don't get me
is-
started on that fucking movie.
Well, which
Don't get me
which is trying to get somebody who could be a good Asuka in real life. Which
is almost impossible, but Rita-chan is the most Asuka of all time. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Katie-
You understood
Katie
her so
fucking
well.
knocked it out of the park. And
And
I was talking about
Katie
this 'cause-
understood it so fucking well. Wow.
Yeah, and I think that like, you know, I was thinking about this and I think that like the recent anniversary short kind of proved it in a weird way. Where like, you know, Asuka's one of the most like compelling
Absolutely.
iconic characters in the history of anime, but there is something about the drama of her arc that is weakened by having her be such a product of the male gaze.
Oh my
you know?
god, you're speaking my language.
Like it
Wow.
was weird to see the short film and to see like all the dumb, silly fan service stuff, and then undercut
Yeah.
and you bring in her origin, and I'm like, that felt so weird to bring in the doll shit because I'm like, you can't have both of those. You can't have your
No.
cake and eat it too.
I think that's the problem with the creator. I always forget this dude's name. of
Ano,
Neon Genesis. Ano. Yeah, he's very much a pervert. He's very much into young girls, and we can tell, and it's weird, and it literally it distorts her character so much. It I don't know, subdues it, but she's such a character that cannot be subdued. But at the same time, as a woman who relates to Asuka,
Yeah.
it pisses me off how much she is just like, this like
Purely
objectified
sexualized.
figure at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even
And it's
Ray.
weird 'cause
Ray
it's
is
like,
very
oh, yeah.
overlooked in that sense. She's very sexualized, but she's like the perfect Ray autistic. Like, I love Ray for that reason. But it makes me so angry how the Evangelion fandom and the creator are so perverted.
Yeah, I was like weird thing. That's also like to bring it back to Bong Joon Ho. That's why I was always
Right.
like really compelled by Bong Joon Ho films was because they were refreshingly asexual. Like
Yup.
they were
Oh my God.
they were always about familial dynamics. Because I think that Western media, like I will say this, as much as I've been praising Western media uses sexuality and romance like a crutch in storytelling.
Because
know?
Western society uses sexuality and romance as a crutch. It's
But
just a
Tish,
reflection
yeah,
of
there
how
you
we
go.
live.
And
We
that's
have no
such
community
a,
outside of romance and sex.
and that's kind of a cheap move, you know? I think
Yeah.
that that's very cheap, especially when it's not done well, which is most of the time. When it's done well, it's awesome. Like, oh
Like-
God, I
Like
love.
100 First or what was that movie
No,
where
I
they
would
put
say
all
my
of the
favorite-
celebrities in America in it?
Did you ever see Party Down?
Fuck no. What is that? Party
Oh,
Down.
Party Down is amazing. It's a live action comedy series about a catering company in Los Angeles that's comprised entirely of failed and struggling actors and writers.
Oh, this sounds awesome.
It's
This
amazing.
sounds great.
And friggin' Adam Scott was the lead on it right before Parks and Rec.
Oh, what? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, when I tell
Oh,
Party
so it has
Down
a
is
bit of
the
a flavor
best
of that
show.
in it. Nice.
Party Down is the best show that nobody's freaking seen. Jane Lynch was on it too, Martin Starr. But
Oh,
him
I
and
miss
Lizzie
when Jane Lynch wasn't
Kaplan,
evil.
him and Lizzie Kaplan were so hot on that show, and I'm like, you guys have that's my favorite chemistry out of like any TV couple like ever.
Me
like,
with
those
Spencer
guys.
Kuhn and Toki-chan.
Oh, I love that. I love how people. I mean, that's like the only whiff of normalcy that kind of happens in the
Dude,
whole.
it's the sweetest thing ever.
It's
hope
so
it
sweet, and
continues in the finale.
it's a flower that exists just to be trampled on.
Aww.
We'll see. We'll see. That's like to get into speculating the finale. You know, I don't want people speculating, but I will
No
neither.
speculations.
No speculation, none whatsoever. I will say this though, I almost talked about this on the last podcast, but I didn't have time to get into it, so I'll talk about it here. The one thing that I found interesting is the people who think Michelle's a hallucination.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this with you. I wanted to ask you, like, I kind of bought into the theory for a short time, but then I was here's the stance that I want to kind of give on that theory. Let's see.
Is having known people who are unmedicated, you know, having known people, none of them ever flat out hallucinated a person. You know,
True.
I've never seen someone go through some A Beautiful Mind type shit IRL. Even though A Beautiful Mind is based on a real freaking experience, I've never seen someone go through that. So that's what I have to say on that. I think that, you know, if you want to take that from what you will, take that. But I think that there's also something especially just because like Rita, the thing that I found interesting is like people are more inclined to believe that than to believe that somebody who
loved her, wanted to spend time with her,
somebody who had the potential to love her would show up.
Oh wow, that's kind of saying a lot about how people perceive people like Rita.
I think that actually is saying a lot, because I think that it's like people say like that feels so unrealistic for all of a sudden the perfect girl falls in her lap, and I'm like, is that any more realistic than another horrible thing happening to her? You know,
I love that.
And I think that what's really true about Rita's character is if you met her on a good day, I bet she would have been a completely different person.
Yeah.
And I think that there's something so real about seeing somebody and you're having a fresh start with them, and they don't see your baggage and they don't see the horrible cloud over your head. And there's something about that. And I think that like when people talk about like how this show represents a positive connection to anime conventions, I think it's through that scene, and I think it's through that moment. And it's like, yeah, you could have a horrible emotional breakdown. You could also have your first kiss. And I think those are both like two completely valid experiences that somebody like that could have, you know? And you know, that's kind of what I will say about that.
I absolutely don't want to run on too long, but that just inspired me to talk more about that whole thing.
Of course, yeah.
It's so beautiful to me the way that you just explained that. And I know I keep saying it's so beautiful. I'm very much a person who appreciates beauty always. I can't help it. I am so cheesy.
I want things to be
gushy.
beautiful. Bow, bow,
well,
bow, bow.
Literally, bro. Me. Literally. But yeah, that is so profound, because it is very much the view on people with mental illness, a severe mental illness, where you have to be on medication, where you have to take antipsychotics, where you don't know why you're like this. It's not your fucking fault. And you're treated as a plague for your bad behavior. You're told, it's not an excuse. And to some degree, it is not an excuse. You shouldn't hurt the people that you love so deeply, but at the same time,
it's a reason and an explanation. It's a reason and an explanation. It's not an excuse.
It's absolutely so complex, and I feel like we tend to bubble it down to as if someone is making excuses instead of realizing the complexity of living with mental illness, and how being a flawed person exists outside of mental illness as well for many other reasons. And I feel like I wish people had the kindness to be objective and look at, hey, maybe why is this person acting this way? Let me give them a little grace, maybe. I don't know. There's so much.
Yeah, you know what? Grace
that
is a good word, and I think we all need a lot more of it.
Absolutely.
Which is hard because, you know, there are people that take advantage of grace, and there's, you know, we've all been hurt to such a crazy degree, like we've all been fried.
It's up to us to not be jaded, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, there you freaking go right there. It's up to us to always assume too that like the greater light might shine through in certain cases.
A lot of the time, it's our perceptions of the experiences we've had before. We've been hurt. We become jaded. We see everyone as the past people who hurt us, and we place intention on things that might just be, this person is flawed, and you know, that's it. People are flawed. That's it. You know, I've been trying to live my life in this way.
I always, one thought that I kept having a lot recently, which is just, is mental illness the default state of the human condition?
It is. 100% it is. I believe this because personally, from a non-Western perspective, the Western view on mental health, autism, all kinds of things like that is very skewed. It's very under a lens of capitalism. It very much is. And we do not deal with mental illness, and even calling it mental illness. Do you understand how fucked up that is? The Western view sees it as illness. Something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you, and you have to fix it with medication. You have to fix it with this and this and this and that. You're always broken. You're going to be broken forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a difference between like functional and cured, and it's weird to look at it as like a disease. You know, I think that freaking her dad says that at one point in the show.
Yeah, he literally says that.
And I think that, you know, that's just you know, when my dad talked about alcoholism, he always treated alcohol. He said to treat alcoholism like a disease.
It's the disease. It's not you.
Yeah.
This horrible
and you know,
disease.
I don't even know if that's like a positive or negative statement to even say in light of Rita's condition, but it felt like his way of trying to empathize and understand what she was going through.
Absolutely. You can only meet people where they're at. That's where he was at.
Yeah.
So it's also having compassion for people who don't understand, and try and teach them, try and make them help them understand, you know? That's also a mission of mine. It's my work.
It's tricky. I don't know what we can do.
I don't know if we can do it. I'm very much an optimist.
I don't know what works. And
you know what we're gonna do?
You know what?
People are gonna take over the world.
Think about what I think about at least once a week, or at least 3 times a week. Did you ever see and I'll wrap up on this, unfortunately. But did you ever see the movie Ollie G Into House?
You just keep giving me gems that I've never heard of.
This is why I'm here. Listen, I had one DVD catalog book. So Ollie G had a movie. This was pre-Borat, and it was.
I hate Borat. I'm so sorry.
But did you ever watch some Ollie G back in the day?
No, actually, I watched Borat with my Muslim family, and it was really awkward. It was really awkward.
So Borat was a spinoff from the Ollie G show.
Okay.
And Ollie G, he was one of the characters that he played also, who was this white rapper from Staines, who's like, yo, this is me, Ollie G, here with me main man, you know, and that was the whole gimmick. And so Ollie G was the first Sacha Baron Cohen movie, but it was scripted. It wasn't like Borat or Bruno, which were actual unscripted things. They were just trying to make like an Ollie G comedy, and it was called Ollie G Into House. And there's a moment, And there was one moment where there's like a scene in like it was like a meeting at the UK Parliament or something. All the world leaders were there, and there was about to be a nuclear war or something. Like all the nations of the world, and Ali G's like, "Yo, I know what we need to calm these guys down," and he like spikes everyone's tea with ganja. Like he puts weed in everybody's tea. And he goes to like the lady. He goes to the lady. He says, "You see that? You know why they're so upset? They haven't had their teas. Go get their teas to them." and so he hands out all their teas, and then shocker, all of a sudden everyone just chills the fuck out.
Well, when everyone's Bob Marley, who cares about a nuke?
Yes, World War crisis averted. Ollie G becomes a national hero. And I'm just like, but what if that actually would work? What if we just got everyone on the planet stoned at the exact same time? Would that create a greater sense of global empathy? Would that
everyone
work?
would kiss and hold hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we would all watch music videos for 8 hours straight together.
I was going to say, yeah. And then it's just straight up, we'll just spend the rest of our times watching AMVs until we turn into weird Wally people.
I missed MomoCon's AMV panels last year because I had a friend who was not, I'm going to be real, she was a newbie. All she cared about was one thing, getting a signature and the artist alley. This is no shade, but it ruined my experience because I wanted to do a lot. I missed out on the arcade, which was the reason I went. I missed out on the rave because some creepy guy named Kevin was following me. Yeah, I need to go to MomoCon with somebody this year.
Well, maybe I'll see you because hopefully we're
you
planning
definitely will. I will be coming to the panel. Are you kidding?
Oh, hell yeah.
Are you debuting the finale there for real?
Oh, God, no, we're not debuting the finale.
Oh.
We've not even begun. We've got a long way to go.
Well, I'll be there every step of the way.
I think that's like the weirdest thing. I'll say this before wrapping out.
Absolutely.
We're working on our first material right now because we've never done animation, and we really want.
Animation is a beast.
Animation's a beast, but I'm very happy with the people we're working with, and I think that I really want us to make an animated product that lives up to the standard we set with our live action work,
Yes.
And
yes.
I think the cool thing about the internet now is people respect that and people understand that. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather have you guys take your time and not totally botch this than rush it out and just have it do that. And I think the cool thing is there's even weird fandoms. Have you seen or heard of Ong Zelig?
Oh my goodness. Look, I'm very chronically online. You may be online more than I am.
I might be, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I know about very niche, weird communities as a very autistic.
Well, because the cool thing about that is their community, their fandom is still going and holding strong, and they only have 30 minutes of material to work with, you know. So it's in a weird way, seeing how that fandom works and seeing that it's shown me how to kind of keep the fire going, even though we are such a limited miniseries. But it's also at a point where I'm I don't want to work on anything else but this, especially now, especially when it's it's beautiful, it's exciting and completely sad that it feels like the message of this show is more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. That's why it resonated with so many people that literally now. It's so relevant to the times today.
Isn't that upsetting?
Well as it is the times
it's not you deserve better. That's what I was like.
You know what's funny? Last night I watched a clip from a Charlie Chaplin film that rang so true to this day. It's the film about Hitler, and he did this beautiful, profound speech, The Dictator. And when I was listening to the speech, I thought, holy fucking shit, we have learned nothing. We have learned nothing. We're right back in the same exact spot that Charlie Chaplin was in when he made the speech in The Dictator. But that's why artists need to keep making art, because we have to keep reminding people. We have to keep reflecting the times. And, it feels so hopeless sometimes when it feels like things are never changing. But it's still our literal responsibility to make that art. It's it's my belief. As an artist, it's my responsibility to do this for the world. So, I think 2Kawaii did a lot for the world and did a lot to make people feel that they're not alone in this very weird world we're living in right now, especially as someone who deals with mental illness or autism or, is just a dork or an outcast. It matters so much to speak for the outcasts in times of terror.
And the real outcasts, not those fake outcasts that you see on TV.
Ones.
We want the real weirdos here. We're talking the real sit by themselves and lunch crowd.
It's really hard to tell apart these days, and it actually leads to a lot of division in the community where a lot of people treat me as if I am a LARPer.
Yeah, I was
which
gonna say
find very
LARPer is the
interesting.
word now. LARPer.
LARPer, like fuck
You're
you.
doing it
I've
to
been in
be
this my whole
cool.
life.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
I will say this. What I also think that like I'm curious to know like how much of the social angst we feel, how much of it is actually manufactured.
A lot of it is manufactured because
I
the
think
whole
that
point.
like I think there's a lot of manipulation and algorithmic shit and like a lot of dead internet and a lot of
Capitalism
real
wants us to be isolated.
yeah.
Isolated, no community. If you can, I actually looked at a CIA document that I have never wanted to kill myself a day in my life, by the way. I'm working on a video about mimetic warfare, and I looked at some old spreadsheets from the CIA. They had to release it or whatever, and it basically outlined how they create division on the internet specifically within groups, and it was so disgusting. And it made me realize that this is all manufactured to keep us isolated and thinking that the world sucks and everybody sucks and nobody can understand me. Individualism is literally killing us, the Western world. Community matters so much, and coming from a community-based culture, like I can see how badly the West needs community and how badly the internet is kind of a barrier to that community. Like it seems like a place where you go to find community, which is true, but also not true.
This is I will kind of close on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I've kind of learned to love about the Godzilla movies, like
Oh,
in
I
Japan.
love the Godzilla movies. Yeah.
I do too. And like the thing is like, you know, they're the least individualistically driven film franchise ever. You know, because it's like, you know, there's never one hero that triumphs over Godzilla. It's always
So
like
true. It's the collective fighting.
it's a collective, and that
Yo!
seems so much more realistic to me than like the idea of like one savior to stop him. It's like no,
Jesus
it's
Christ. You know?
yeah, no. Jesus cannot help you against Godzilla. Jesus
No.
possesses no atomic breath. Christ cannot help you. No, we got to get our
Jesus
heads together and
possesses no
stop
atomic
this
breath.
fucking thing. You know?
we have to stop using religion or whatever individualistic bullshit. I feel
No,
like it's
we
a
all have to
very-
put our fucking heads together and stop Godzilla.
And you know how we're gonna do that? Everybody's gonna get a free gram. Everybody's gonna get a free gram, and we're all gonna smoke it, and we're gonna beat Godzilla.
You're all gonna get super fucking baked and just
Absolutely.
take him out. I actually would kind of. I feel like that was like the Seth Rogen, James Franco movie we never got. Was like Pineapple Express 2. If they combined Pineapple
God, I
Express
love Pineapple Express. I gotta say
and Pacific Rim, we had a franchise that would have clearly lost millions of dollars, but I would have absolutely watched.
You know, you still have time to do that after 2Kawaii, right?
Yeah, no, it's just called Neon Genesis Evangelion or something.
Evangelion.
All right, I'm out. And that
Wait, before we leave,
Neon
I just wanna ask
Cannabis
you,
Evangelion. That's what it is. It's Neon
Exactly.
Cannabis Evangelion.
before you leave, I just want to ask you if you know this meme. Ho, you do not relate to Evangelion.
I do not know. I possess
Look
no
it up
knowledge.
after. It's so fucking funny. It's like a TikTok of some girl being like, I relate to Neon Genesis because, and then this girl stitched her and said, girl, you do not relate to Evangelion. Shut the fuck up. It was hysterical. It's so stupid. I think you'll like it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on and yapping it up.
Absolutely. But I do have one last question.
Absolutely.
Luke-san,
Yes.
do you like Jazu?
You know, it's actually funny. I did. There is a record place near me. And I did out of just on a lark because I thought it'd be fun content. I did pick up a Dave Brubeck album recently.
The Dave Brubeck album?
And the cool thing about it, which I didn't, so it was $10. It was used. It was definitely like it was beat up, but
Yeah.
it was on a cherry red translucent vinyl.
Wait a minute. Did you know my
Yeah.
first single is called Cherry? Did you know that? The
I
first
did
song
not
I've ever
know that.
released, the
Wow.
only song?
Wow, and you
Addicted
collaborated with
to
Dave
this new
Brubeck on
flavor.
it. How European? I don't know.
No, like now I'm gonna have to hit him up. Is he dead?
I'm pretty sure Dave Brubeck is dead. Let's see.
Damn it. God damn it.
He's got to be. He's got to
So
be.
I can't be like, what cherry really means? Find out what cherry really means, Dave Brubeck. This is promo for my song.
Yes, Dave
If you wanna
Brubeck
find out
died. December 5th, 2012.
Oh, he should not have popped that cherry then.
He should not have, no. Oh, I bet he was a sweetheart.
I
All
bet he was. Well, that's a great way. That's a great way to end off. I want to say thank you so much. It was such a pleasure. I really do love your work, including the video essay, which I didn't even realize was yours.
I know, yeah, man. It's when I tell you, like, technically the biggest, most viewed day for episode 1 of 2Kawaii4Comfort was the day that thing took off on Reddit. And when I say that helped us, not in the slightest, it did not help us in the slightest.
I would like to say, as you sign off, is just think about the butterfly effect of Chris Evans going to your school, and then Bong Joon Ho putting Chris Evans in a movie. I
think about it
who's your
literally
inspo.
every day. You don't even know.
And then think about how Bong Joon Ho was inspired by Martin Scorsese, so you're connected to Martin Scorsese in a weird way, as well as... Oh, I'll tell you this story before you sign off. Can I tell you this story?
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
My music teacher in middle school was actually Amy Winehouse's music teacher. I went to a British school in Qatar.
Oh, whoa.
And she came up to me one music lesson. I used to wear really big eyeliner, and I had black hair, and I had like my own look. She came up to me and she said, I used to be Amy's music teacher, and you remind me so much of her. And that was like the highlight of my life, and what made me really, because I always wanted to be a musician since I was a kid, but then abuse happened and I kind of forgot. And when she said that, that was like ignited that back in me. I was like, wait a minute, I forgot who I am. So I just think it's so beautiful that all these things are so connected, you know what I mean? And it leads to your artistry. And it was like that for me, and it's like that for you. And I just love the bond between artists, as we all have stories like this.
And you know what? Congratulations on 2 weeks sobriety on that.
Thank you. I'm very proud of myself. I realized that I was self-sabotaging, and that is a pattern, and I needed to break it. And I'm very proud of myself. And because I am sober, I was able to reach out to you. So, yeah. Thank you very much.
Of course. Thank you for
everything.
talking and having us on. It means so much. I like the show, and hopefully meet you soon.
You're gonna see me at MomoCon. I'll be the first person at the panel. I'm gonna speed run from the rave to the panel. Come on.
Amazing. All right. Janet.
Mata ne.